Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our SaVeg take on just about everything.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of the SaVeg podcast.
Hello, everybody. We are back. We're back in Daniel's hot-ass apartment.
Oh, God damn, it's a
we
little
might
bit cooler.
die.
It's a little cooler.
Yeah, today's a little cooler, so we are able to do it here. We have some bubbly, which means Daniel's gonna get gassy.
Just for you guys. That ASMR vibes.
ASMR burping vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wonder if ASMR burping is a thing.
People pay good money for that, Rose.
For ASMR burping.
It's a fetish.
Is it a fetish?
I might start an OnlyFans.
I mean, apparently the feet thing is a big fetish.
Which I
People are paying money.
I know.
Okay?
To
like
see feet.
it's a business.
Didn't someone comment? Didn't you show a picture of some feet or something? And then someone was like, Rose, you get good money for that. Or was that you commenting on someone
that was
else?
me commenting on somebody else today.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody I saw, it was like a person I follow on Instagram, and I just responded to her, and I was like, don't be showing your feet for free. Okay? You know your worth, okay?
Yeah, it's
You
funny.
do not give away that shit for free.
Exactly. It's funny because I was like literally just watching an episode of Schitt's Creek, and in that episode, Moira was going to this like convention for like soap opera stars, and there was like a whole conversation about selling foot photos.
Oh my God, I don't remember this conversation.
Oh God.
I need to rewatch.
The one lady's like, you have to charge them at least like 100 per foot, 200 a pair if they want to see them both. And
but it's a thing.
Yeah, like, I mean.
It's so crazy. I mean, you just have to be comfortable with the idea that they're going to be doing some shit.
Watching your feet. Like,
Ew.
is there such thing as like a foot job?
Of course, I'm sure. Foot fetish is a big fetish.
That's true. A lot of people have it.
I think it's one of the biggest fetishes, which is very strange to me. But you know what? To each his own.
I wonder what it stems from. Like, I wonder why people get foot fetishes.
Maybe it's like feet are supposed to be dirty.
Or because they're always covered. Well, not always.
I mean,
they're like, you always have socks on.
Okay, so what if you had a foot fetish and like it's like summertime and everyone's wearing sandals? Like, can you control yourself?
Well, yeah, I'm sure you could.
I don't know.
It's like people that have. Well, actually, maybe it's like such a turn on.
Well, maybe it depends on the severity of your foot fetish.
It's like wasn't there a guy on Sex and the City that was like worked at a shoe shop or something?
Yes, and he had like a foot fetish.
Yeah, and he was like was it Miranda or someone?
It was
shoes?
Charlotte. I know that exact episode.
And was like, ooh, here you go, like giving her free shit and he would like get off on her putting them on.
Oh my God, like seriously though.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, to each their own, right?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, hey, if you enjoy it.
Yeah, like if my boyfriend comes home and he's like into my feet, like.
You'd be okay with that.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, there could be worse things.
Exactly.
There are worse fetishes.
Exactly. There's a lot more fetishes that I would be a lot more uncomfortable with.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not going to get into detail on this podcast. We're going to keep it PG, guys.
We're a PG podcast.
Sort of.
But yeah, I don't know how we started out with foot fetishes, but here we are. Anyway, well, let's get into our Patreon shout outs.
Yes.
Good segue into our Patreon shout outs. By the way, guys, if you guys want to join us on Patreon, it is only starting at $3 a month, and you get a shout out from us. You get a bonus episode every single month that is only for our patrons.
Exactly.
And you get the episodes a week earlier than everybody else, and they are ad-free. So join us. The link is in the description.
Yep.
But let's start with our shout-outs.
All right. So we're going to give thanks today to, and again, apologies if we butcher any names, Maddie.
And Caitlin Kazoka, my friend.
Hey,
Thanks, Caitlin.
Hi. Clarissa.
We have Mercedes. Ooh, what a name.
Miriam.
Universine. I do apologize once again. Yeah. God, I'm so sorry.
Shelby.
Kiera.
Fallon.
We got a lot of new patrons. We got a lot. Courtney.
Christine.
Luna.
Gina.
Veronica.
Whitney. Oh God, it's started.
Catherine.
Jennifer.
And Rebecca. thank you so much, you guys, for all of the support and love.
Yeah.
Once again, join us on Patreon if you guys want your shout outs next week.
And for that exclusive juicy content.
Oh God, there'd be some juicy ass content. We should ask our patrons what they want for this month.
I will do that.
What kind of juicy content they want.
Maybe
some feet photos.
That's not happening, okay? This is not turning into an OnlyFans.
I don't know, Daniel. I mean, no, I'm just kidding.
God damn.
There's a lot of money. If this Patreon don't work out, if this podcast don't work out, there's a lot of money in the foot fetish industry.
And I have some pretty nice feet.
My feet. The thing is, I feel like my feet are ugly, so I don't think anyone would pay for my feet.
Oh, you'd be surprised, Rose. There's someone out there,
There's someone out there that.
Okay, let's move on from this topic, guys.
Okay, so what are we going to talk about? Are we going to talk about Canada today? Let's start with that.
I think that we should.
Because I think Daniel might have some controversial opinions.
Oh, God dang. Just me.
Well, I always have controversial opinions. All right, you guys. So, so last week was Canada Day, wasn't it? Or just a few days ago?
Yeah,
a few days ago.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to?
Well, I was gonna start this off, guys, because I obviously there is some very controversial opinions on this right now going around. So I think again, as we always say when we discuss this controversial stuff to our audience and our listeners, maybe you don't agree, maybe you kind of agree with us, or maybe you have a completely different opinion. And again, appreciate you guys sharing those with us. But let's just do this in a constructive and positive way.
AKA, don't be mean to us.
Yeah. AKA,
we're just expressing our opinions.
Exactly. And you know what? Maybe we've got this wrong, or maybe, or we don't. I don't know. I feel like there's no right or wrong answer to this. But the way I wanted to start this is what does Canada Day represent?
Right. What does it represent? What is the day?
So technically it's when Canada was formed, and also it basically joined a lot of the provinces that were kind of separate a little bit, and it celebrated, I guess, independence from it kind of separated or celebrated it forming a country. Right.
Okay.
And I think in terms of within the Aboriginal community, it's never been looked at as that positive, because it's looking at as we settled this land that was already settled, right? So that's one of the things that has been ongoing for
which is, there is some truth to that.
Exactly.
There's a lot of truth to that. Actually,
there is, and I think with all of these unmarked graves that are popping up through all these residential schools.
Should we talk about that for a second?
Oh, God damn.
Well, we should give context in case people don't know.
We definitely need to.
Yeah. So for those of you guys that might not be in Canada, I'm sure if you're in Canada, you've heard this already, but basically around Canada, recently there have been multiple graves of, it's really sad. Okay. Hundreds of bodies of Indigenous children. Well, we're pretty sure it's Indigenous children, right? Because
I think they were saying 70 or 80% of people found there are Indigenous.
Because they were found in what used to be residential schools, which were actually schools that basically kind of they were created to basically take Indigenous kids out of their own homes and put them and force them to assimilate into Canadian society.
Exactly.
And it was created by the Canadian government and also I believe the Catholic Church.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyways, it's horrific. It is horrible. A ton of bad things were done to these kids. Yeah. And I guess a bunch of them also died and they were buried without people knowing.
Exactly. And the thing that why they also got a lot of backlash is because, people are like, oh, well, how did this go on? Well, a lot of people, if your kid went to that school and then went missing, of course you're going to kick up an uproar, right? And apparently lots of people were complaining and saying what's happened to my children,
right? And
it was all denied. It was he ran away, or right. You know what I mean? No one ever took responsibility.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
So apparently it's just been crazy. There's been so many of these uncovered at various schools.
How did they just find this? That's another question.
I don't really know how that's.
Well, I think that's also another part of the discussion, because a lot of Indigenous people go missing or they're killed, and oftentimes they're ignored, right? Because imagine if thousands of white kids were missing, there's no way that we would not find their bodies. But because they were Indigenous, and at that time also again, they probably didn't properly keep track. They probably didn't I'm pretty sure a lot of them just lost contact with their family to begin with, because it was so horrible what they did. So it's all of that, right?
Exactly. It's a lot of, it's just,
a lot.
It's not great.
Yeah.
So basically these schools, as Rose had mentioned, they were around for approximately around 100 years or so.
Right.
And they were largely run by the Catholic Church, with funding from the Canadian government.
Right.
So basically the thing with this, is the government, like the Canadian government has, pardon me, publicly apologized, and they've come forward and they're trying to like, obviously there's nothing that they can do to completely, what am I trying to say? You know, like
completely better the situation.
Exactly. Or reverse what happened.
Exactly.
They can't change the past or what happened.
Yeah.
But the Canadian government is stepping up and,
what's the plan? What are they doing?
So they've set up just recently, they've set up a commission to investigate crimes and other injustices done on the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations group.
Okay. Yeah.
And anyway, they have this like project that's ongoing now.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that's like part of the issue and more controversy as well is that the Catholic Church itself hasn't come forward and apologized.
Ugh.
So
here's the thing. This is where my controversial statements start.
Oh God damn.
So that was the context of the reason why we started talking about Canada Day is because a lot of these graves were found like, you know, pretty recently, and Canada Day just passed, which was July 1st. Yeah. And there was this whole like campaign to like basically end Canada Day or cancel Canada Day.
Cancel Canada Day.
Cancel. It was one of those, like, this is another thing that I get annoyed with. These like internet, like I call it Slacktivism. Yeah. It's like when people just think they're doing something because they just do a little hashtag and post a little thing. I understand to some extent, like I'm not fully against, you know, obviously social media is a great platform to raise awareness. I think it's great. But I also am against like people just, it's like mob mentality. Like when this starts happening, it's like if you don't join this mob of cancel Canada Day, all of a sudden you're now the oppressor. Which I don't agree with. It's like the same thing with the fucking black squares that happened, which I felt pressure to post as well, even though I didn't even know what this really was about. Yeah. Not everyone spends 24 hours on Instagram. Even people that do, you know, Instagram as a job like me. Anyways, so basically, one of the reasons why we're complaining is because like if anybody wrote on Canada Day, if anybody wrote like Happy Canada Day or like showed any sort of celebration for Canada on that day, like I get that it's kind of like, maybe it wasn't the best timing. Yeah. But maybe they also didn't really realize this was like a huge campaign. Yeah. You know, for example, at my cafe, we actually did a post because it was Canada Day and it's a national holiday. So we had to open in specific hours, right? We opened different hours. It was a holiday hours. So all we did was post something that said, Happy Canada Day. Here are our hours today. Yeah. And again, like I don't actually like, I'm not the one that does like all of the social media. But either way, like I'm still like overseeing it. And I thought it was fine. I don't know. Like I didn't realize that like we can't say Happy Canada Day anymore. And I didn't realize that Canada Day was now completely, you know, connected to this horrific event, which I'm like 100% against, obviously. Yeah. But anyways, and then people started being like, I can't believe you're supporting this, you know, just like, again, like I get it. Maybe it was like a little bit insensitive during this time. Yeah. But to equate me posting that or our cafe posting that to supporting this and not supporting Indigenous people is such a fucking reach, people.
Yeah, this is where I feel like a lot of stuff, it's not necessarily like misguided, but in some way I'm like, you're equating one thing with another, like like saying that they're a direct result of one other thing, or you know what I'm trying to say, like like by me saying, you know, Happy Canada Day, and you know, because the thing is you know, Canada has been around for like over 150 years, and what Canada Day like represents, at least to a lot of people now, is not what it represented in the past. And I think people are taking this representation of what Canada Day actually means and are saying that because people are celebrating Canada Day and being, because to me, Canada Day is proud to be in this country. Like I'm proud to be part of Canada. I'm proud to be a Canadian. Yes. Is this shit really horrible and is not great and it should never have happened?
And it should be called out. Absolutely.
100%. But look, the government is, I mean, I'm not saying the government's perfect, but they're
definitely not.
Definitely not. Yeah. But you know, with all this stuff going on, they are stepping up. They're creating, you know, they're trying to do some kind of retribution.
Yeah. I think so. Is that the term? Yeah, I think so.
So I think, you know, and there's a lot of countries where their governments wouldn't do that. Do you know what I mean? Where their government would say, fuck off, you know, like, you know, we're not going to do any of this stuff. And so I think that I agree that there's parts of Canada Day. Well, maybe instead of saying cancel Canada Day, we should try to like look at what it means and focus on like, you know, the history, education, all of that kind of stuff, and the importance of the Aboriginal community and what they represent as part of Canada versus saying, you know what, we're going to cancel this day and just anyone that says Happy Canada Day or wants to celebrate Canada Day, they're for residential schools. Like it's like you're creating like two.
That's the thing. Like I understand when people do say like they don't want to celebrate Canada Day.
Yeah.
Fully respect that. I get it because it can mean something really detrimental and really painful to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I get it. But to basically like demonize people for saying Happy Canada Day, that's a different story, right?
Yeah.
Like, because again, you're right. Like Canada Day can mean something very different for different people.
Exactly.
Maybe we moved, like we're both immigrants here and we love Canada. Yeah. You're right. It is absolutely horrible that these things happened. But what my complaint is, why is no one canceling the Catholic Church?
Well, exactly. This is that is. Oh my God, that was like my next point, Rose. I literally. This is what pisses me off.
What is like exactly like celebrating Canada Day is what does more harm? Like I'm sorry, like Catholic Church. I'm sorry if you're religious, but let's be honest, they've done so much fucking harm. Not just Catholic Church, but like a lot of religions.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure they do some good, but as an institution, I'm not talking about your beliefs, like you can believe whatever you want. But as an institution, the amount of fucked up shit that they've done is like, I don't like, so why are we not holding them accountable? Why? So canceling Canada Day is going to fix this?
Exactly.
But
This is like exactly my point. This is what's so frustrating about this whole movement and everything. Again, I appreciate the sentiment. This is horrible history of what happened, right? But you have kind of two main, I guess not two main culprits, but like you had Canada at the time and you had like the Canadian government and then you had the Catholic Church, right?
Yeah.
Canada has, put its hand up and been like, yes, this was fucked up. This should not have happened. We're going to put programs in place. We're going to try to repair some of the damage that's been done.
Yeah.
Catholic Church refuses to acknowledge it.
They never acknowledge anything.
I know. So then my exactly the same question, Rose, is like, why are we saying, okay, yes, it was fucked up and Canada should not have been part of that, but they were. We can't erase the past.
Yeah.
But we're saying we're going to cancel Canada Day. But like, what about the church? And I know that like there's been some instances that have happened to churches over the last little while in Canada. Apparently like some vandalistic acts and things like that. Because people are pissed off and rightly so.
Yeah.
It's like, why is there no...
because it's easy to say cancel Canada Day and post an orange square on Instagram, but it's not easy to go against a religion that so many people believe in. That's
this is so
why.
True.
Because just the fact that we're talking about this, we're gonna get so much hate. Oh, yeah. But let's be fucking honest. You're like this institute. Listen, I'm a baptized fucking. I know, believe it or not, I'm fucking baptized. Damn, now I'm the Antichrist. Yeah. Now they won't let me in the church. Yeah. But I went to Catholic school. I know the damaging shit that they talk about. I know the damaging shit. I've heard it all. Yeah. Okay. They tell fucking kids that they're going to burn in hell if they don't believe in this shit. Like this happens inside a school. Yeah. And they've done, like they are responsible for this, like at least partially.
Well, and it's crazy because even in this situation with the residential schools, they were funded by the Canadian government, but primarily they were ran by the church.
I know.
So all of the things that happened within these schools primarily was the church's responsibility. Exactly. Canada funded the program. Yes, they paid for it and stuff like that. But like it was the Catholic Church that was involved with the what do they call it? Like the trying to
assimilate them
these kids into culture or into
the Western
religion.
Culture.
But you're right. Like the thing that frustrates me about this is, again, I don't have an issue with the concept of religion and believing in something. Yeah. The issue that God damn, you were right about the bubbly. The issue that I have is the way that it's carried out in organized fashion, because that's when all the fucked up shit happens. So like we've seen this time and time again, and this is just another example. And again, I just feel like, they're saying that like the Pope, there's like a discussion and, Pope's going to be meeting with some of delegates from 3 of Canada's largest Indigenous groups. But like, is there going to be any, is there going to be an apology? Are they going to, maybe they can spend some retribution money, and, because the church, like,
they're so rich.
Exactly. They have some deep pockets over there in the Vatican. In the Vatican. Yeah. Thank you. And so maybe they should be responsible and they should pay some retribution for the
and
fact
maybe
that
they should be canceled too.
Oh God. Well, exactly. Like why? It's and you're right. I think it's easier to jump on Canada Day than it is
it's
to
just
like
easy.
And in my opinion.
So if I went to church, this Sunday, no one would cancel me. No. Even though I'm going to a Catholic church.
Exactly.
Which was responsible for this.
Exactly.
But because I said Happy Canada Day, some people want to cancel me. That's how fucked up this whole situation is. That's how fucked up this whole like woke-tivism, fucking slacktivism. Like, listen, I get it, but let's sometimes use a little bit of common sense.
Exactly. Let's take a step back, look at this whole situation like we've just done right now, right? And obviously this happened.
And analyze the situation.
Exactly. Well, this happened not actually that long ago. I mean, I think the last residential school was closed in the 90s.
Yeah, it's fucking recent. Isn't that crazy?
But again, we obviously don't know the full intricacies of what happened behind the scenes with the government and the Catholic Church, what their agreement was, whatever it was. But like the Catholic Church was very much involved with this. So why is there no movement towards them as well? But you know, like that's it really irks me because it's like, it's almost like your Canada Day was the easy target, you know?
It was definitely the easy target. It's an easy thing to do. There's nothing really, you know, like there's no, like what change would that make? It would make no change.
Exactly.
Like and canceling Canada Day is not going to make any change. It's not like we did anything but like, you know, fireworks and like, I don't know, like have Canadian flags all over or whatever. I get it. Like it's a symbolic thing.
Yeah, it is a symbolic thing. And I think that's part of it. But then also the meaning of Canada Day has evolved over time.
Yeah, I think so.
And like, especially like we said, like for someone like us, like we're immigrants in this country and there's a lot of stuff that I'm very proud to be a Canadian about. Obviously not some of the dark history and shit like this that went on, but there's a lot of stuff now where I'm like, the country that we've become, there's some really good things. And again, the fact that our government is apologizing and trying to work towards reconciliation, there's a lot of governments around the world that wouldn't do that.
Sure.
So like, that's something in itself to be proud of. So I think, you know, having a day. And maybe it's like we need to do some work around, like I was saying before, around fine-tuning the image around what Canada Day represents.
Sure.
And maybe fine-tuning the messaging. And it's less about independence.
Learning more about, you know, Indigenous people. Because I do remember, like, in school, there's very, like...
Such a little amount.
Oh, and the way that I don't really remember much of like what we learned about Canadian history because I was not interested. I thought it was so boring. But I just remember like the way that they talked about it was basically like European settlers came to Canada and like found the land, you know, it was very much like, you know, maybe they were trying to protect us from like learning about all the, you know, gruesome details. Yeah. But, you know, I think that's important to learn, you know?
And that's where the narrative needs to change as well. It's like education starts in the schools.
Exactly.
And, you know, instead of focusing on let's cancel Canada Day, why don't we look at the education that we're taught about our history, about all this stuff that goes on. We should learn about what happened, learn about these residential schools, learn about all of the history, the good and the bad. And, you know, maybe look at still having a Canada Day, but kind of changing the meaning behind it and what it means today to people, you know?
I don't know. It might be canceled forever.
Which
I mean, I don't care that much, but like still.
Yeah. I mean, because and even though it's symbolic and stuff, honestly, like you said, it's just like we do fireworks and we have a holiday day off, you know, and it's less big of a celebration than July 4th for the U.S.
Right. Because that's the thing. The thing is, every country, like I do wonder, like, is July 4th, were they trying to cancel that too? Is that also a thing?
I don't think so.
I don't know. It's interesting.
I know.
Every country has like some kind of really dark past. And I do wonder, although this is pretty fucking bad, I'm not even gonna deny it.
A lot, like U.S. and Australia have similar histories.
Yeah, Australia for sure.
And they still have like, I'm sure they have like Australia Day. Yeah,
I'm sure they do, but maybe they're talking about canceling that too. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's the solution? Like we don't get to do anything as a country. That's another thing.
Well, no, but I think the solution is kind of like what I was mentioning about how we.
I'm for that. Yeah.
Change the imaging. You know,
add in more Aboriginal celebrations during Canada Day.
Exactly.
That should be a part of Canadian history. That should be a part of it.
Exactly, because a big part of, for those of you that aren't in Canada and aren't here, you know, in our country, it's like a big part of being Canadian and being part of Canada is the fact that we, you know, okay, obviously this story aside, because this is really fucked up and, you know, what happened in the past is really messed up, but now we're a country that's known for and celebrates and includes all different cultures.
I wouldn't say that. I think there's still a lot of controversy about how we still treat Indigenous people in this country. So that's another thing. Yes, we might celebrate everyone else.
That's true.
But I do think because of what happened, again, I don't know all the full details of how we treat the Indigenous, but I just know that I think it started with something like, you know, residential schools. And then because residential schools, they were designed to do exactly like, basically like get rid of these, you know, native cultures, right? Like these Aboriginal cultures. And they did a really good job because, you know, it took away kids from their families and they prevented the kids from speaking their native tongue. Yeah. So then the kids would have to speak English. And then what is one of the most important things about someone's culture? Their language. So they lost their language. So there's still a lot of work that Canadians need to be doing for sure.
Definitely.
Like, for sure. But like, like let's move forward and like learn what to do rather than like constantly focusing on the past. The past is the past. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And we need to fix it.
Yeah.
So let's move forward and do that.
And that's why I think there should be less focus on like this whole, and it's not just Canada. I've seen this like a few times. There's like cancel culture where it's like everybody jumps onto this bandwagon.
Yes, it's all about canceling. And I'm like, okay, well, why don't we like, why
don't we take what's happened, learn from it, and let's improve on what's going on. You know what I mean? Like start making proactive.
Now we're canceling, not just people. Days, we're canceling fucking.
Exactly. But again, by just going hashtag cancel culture or cancel this,
Canada Day,
it's lazy because that's not going to solve the problem. By canceling things, you're not solving anything.
Yeah.
So
anyways, so that's that. That's Canada Day. That's what happened. It's actually really fucking embarrassing, this history. But hopefully we can, I don't know, do something. Move
so forward and start taking proactive action.
Like I do understand the sentiment of, Indigenous people. They're probably so fucking mad.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that. And like some of these people are still alive. Like people that went to these schools are still alive. Like they're still like, they're pretty, like I'm sure there's like.
Some of them are probably our age.
Maybe not our age.
Well, if the last one closed in like the 90s.
That's true. That is true.
Like
could have been. Yeah, it's true.
So
fucked up. Anyways, so that's the, horrific history of Canada, the parts of Canada that we don't want you to know, but now we do, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to talk about. I think it's important to address, but also let's not jump on some kind of slacktivism bandwagon.
Exactly.
Anyways, what's the next story?
That's our fun little chat about today.
Oh, I have a fun story. Well, actually, it's not a fun story. It's another controversial story, and I want to hear Daniel's take on it.
Okay, let's hear it, Rose. You gonna tell me?
It's gonna be controversial.
Oh, god damn.
Well, I'm torn on this.
Okay.
I'm very much torn. But I think okay. Let me tell you the story.
Okay.
So recently, something went viral. Another video on, like an internet viral video, of course.
Yeah.
So this woman, I don't know where she posted it, but she posted this video, and she was in this spa in LA. It's actually, I think I actually went to this spa. It's a Korean spa. It's called We Spa or something, and it's in Koreatown in LA. And it's a Korean style spa, which basically is like a spa where there's a men's change room and a women's change room, and the change rooms are like really big, and you like shower there. Everyone's like naked. It's like Korean style. Okay. Yeah. People are naked. They're just showering. And so men go to the men's change room and women go to the women's change room. And then people like walk around naked and shit. Okay. Yeah. That's like normal. Anyways, so this happened where this woman, basically the video is this woman talking to like the people working at the front desk of the spa, and she's like, I just saw a man walking inside the woman's change room with his penis out. And then the workers there, I kind of felt bad for the workers, to be honest, because I think they were just stuck between a rock and a hard place, because basically the situation was that it was I don't know the full details, okay, but it was supposed to be a transgender woman
that hadn't gone through the full surgery.
Exactly.
Oh.
So I don't know the extent of which, I mean, I don't know if she was actually walking around with her penis out. Like, we don't actually know. It could have been that, this woman was upset that someone that looked like a man was inside the women's change room.
Yeah.
But I assume because there was like a lineup of women like that were waiting for a refund or something.
Yeah.
So my assumption is that maybe the penis was out. Let's just assume. Okay. Let's take her for like at face value.
Yeah.
Because she said his penis was hanging out. And so the controversy is that, so the staff at the spa were, they seemed to just like not know what to do, but they said, listen, like, this is how she identifies. We asked how they identify, and she says she's a woman. So we had to let her go to the women's change room because she says she's a woman. And then of course, that's the argument here. So like the woman is saying that she feels uncomfortable as a woman. There's children in the change room. It's uncomfortable. It's, we feel unsafe. And then on the other hand, some people are saying, like transgender activists are saying that this is transphobic. What do you think?
Oh my God. That is so hard.
Right? It's hard.
Because it's not like simply like a bathroom thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, because in the bathroom, like nobody sees anything anyway. So you can like, but in this particular instance, because of the style of the spa that it is, it's like very, everyone's getting naked and going to the spa or whatever. Right. So they're going to see everything. And I don't know.
I know. I'm so torn. Like, let me just weigh it out for you. Let me just put do the both sides argument.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, so on one hand, I, as a woman, especially, I would feel very uncomfortable and unsafe if, someone that appeared as a man had his penis hanging out inside one of these spas.
Yeah.
It's already uncomfortable being around other women naked, right? But like to be around someone that appears as a man, it would be uncomfortable and I would feel unsafe. But on the other hand, as a transgender woman, if she went into a male change room and she kind of looks like a woman, that's also unsafe for the trans woman.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, it's a tough one because like, I mean, did that person like, okay, if the person was in the change room with the other women, the person happened to look like a woman, but I
don't know. I don't know the full details of that. But all I know is the woman kept yelling that there was a man in the change room. Yeah. So we don't know how much this person looked like a man or woman or whatever, right? Yeah. It's tough.
Because I think it's a really tough one because obviously you want to be inclusive.
For sure.
Right? Like you do want to be inclusive. But on the flip side, like I can see why on both ways. Yeah. So what's the solution?
I don't know. Well, some people are saying that maybe there needs to be a separate change room. Well, okay, here's another thing though. Like again, of course, it's hard for me to get into someone's head. So I don't know what it's like to be transgender. Yeah. And it must be incredibly difficult. But at the same time, I think this type of incident, I don't think would happen very often because I think this is a very
isolated
unique incident because you're right. Like in a bathroom situation, it's different. You go into like as a woman, you just go into a stall. Yeah. It's not like you're walking around naked, right?
Even like a lot of spas, like not all of them you get naked. So there's a very specific type of spa.
It's a very specific situation. And if I were a trans woman and I didn't have bottom surgery, I personally would not want to cause that kind of controversy and walk around in a women's change room like that.
But then you might also be like, I also want to be able to do the same things as everyone else.
I understand that, but like unfortunately there are like I don't know, it's a really tough thing, right? I understand that, but you're like there are people that still wear some underwear and stuff like that like in these things because they're uncomfortable like whatever. And I also think when this kind of stuff happens, it actually does a lot of potential damage to the trans community as well, because then now this brings up the whole "are bathrooms safe" argument. Yeah. Whereas I feel like the bathroom thing is a little bit of a stretch of an argument. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I think I feel like the bathroom situation is a lot more black and white, only because again, like
it's not like you're naked.
Exactly. And in a bathroom, you do get naked, but you're usually in a stall, so it's not such a big deal. You know what I mean?
But people, like the thing is, conservatives use that as such a big deal, right? They make it seem like there's like trans people just like wanting to take your kids in the bathroom, where it doesn't happen.
I know, it's so
But then
stupid.
when something like this specifically happens, it's unfortunate because it almost makes that argument more valid. This kind of like, is it unsafe? So so I think personally, again, like I wouldn't know. Maybe I do want to participate just like everyone else. Yeah. But at the same time, like personally, if I were a trans woman, I don't know if I would want to walk around in a
and maybe if I was a trans woman, for example, and I hadn't had the full surgery, maybe I would still go to that spa, but like maybe I would wear panties or something.
I think so, maybe. And like, I don't know.
It's a tough one. It's a really tough call because
it's tough because I think also we have to understand that like women also face like a lot of issues like sexual assault, things like that. So that's another thing that it's not just like it's not all about you have to think about other people as well.
Of course.
So I think if you also feel unsafe, let's say if you were a trans woman and you would feel unsafe going into a men's bathroom or a men's change room, I think you should also like at least have an understanding that people might feel also unsafe if somebody that looks like a man goes into a women's change room. Yeah. It's unfortunate, like it sucks, but like that might happen. Yeah.
It's like maybe just have that kind of awareness and be like, you know what, so. if I'm uncomfortable to go into the men's, but I'm still, have certain
body parts.
I am a woman, I identify as a woman, but I do have male body parts. Then like you might have to understand that, especially, women that are at the spa to like do whatever. Right. although you identify yourself as a woman, other people
might not understand that.
Might not understand. Yeah. And they would see certain body parts that would be like, okay,
right.
you know, this
but I don't know. It's so like,
oh God.
It's one of those situations. I feel like it's such a tough situation. It's like the whole like trans sports. Like,
oh yeah, that was a huge
whole argument.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% on one side or the other.
Yeah.
Because I understand kind of both sides, because it's one of those things that we cannot have a perfect answer to that.
Exactly.
You know, it's in one way or another, it would exclude somebody.
Yeah.
And
it's the same in the spa situation.
Exactly.
It's like there is no right or wrong answer. It's just kind of like, you know, what can we do to try to mitigate the situation? But you're right. This is like an isolated, this particular type of spa.
Like it doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
Right? Like most, I think it's safe to say that most trans women don't go to spas like this because of this type of situation. Like I wouldn't want that kind of attention on me. Exactly. Yeah, it would suck, but I wouldn't want that attention on me.
No, definitely not. Well, and also I would feel very uncomfortable, like being a trans woman going into, but this is just my personal thing, is like going in there if I hadn't had full surgery. Yeah. Because obviously you're going to look different.
Exactly.
And people are going to stare.
Yeah.
They're going to say stuff no matter what. So, and I know, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure most people don't like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that begs like so many questions. Like what if you already like, let's say you didn't have the surgery, but what if you also like didn't pass as like a woman? So, but let's say you like wore pants like at these things.
Yeah.
But people would still freak out, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
That's another thing, you know?
But then also, and I'm not saying that this is what happened, right? But also you have to quite, like, because I could see from like both, okay, like, this is
both sides. Yeah, I can
like,
understand both sides.
Exactly. And on the other side, right? The women are going to the spa. How do they know that some guy didn't come to the spa and just say, I identify as a woman?
That's the argument, right?
Right? Like,
which I don't know how many people would do that, but actually, you know what? If people are walking around naked, there's a lot of creeps out there.
There's predators out there. Not again, guys, don't take that out of context, but
we're
I'm just
not saying trans people are predators. We're saying people might pose as a trans person to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can see why maybe initially people, especially if the person really doesn't look feminine at all. Right. Like maybe they haven't had any of the surgeries. Right. Then it's going to be like, there's like a man in the changing room with us.
Yeah. I do wonder like what the situation was. Like we don't know. But there was some like I think after that that video went out, there was some sort of protests, people arguing both sides. I don't know exactly what the protest, I don't know which side was holding the protest, but that caused a lot of controversy. So
damn.
Yeah, it's a very tough situation.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm torn. It sucks. It sucks all around. It sucks for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, that is a very tough one, Rose.
Like I don't, it's hard because you don't want to be, I understand the sentiment. I understand the sentiment, but I also understand as a, woman, like in a change room, that's a very vulnerable place to be.
Exactly. But especially, we're not just saying it's not just a normal change room either.
Yeah.
Because
it's not just a change room.
Because like there's some change rooms where it's like you go to the gym or whatever, and most people are covered up with a towel or whatever else. Like we're talking full nudity.
Full nudity.
Yeah. So
full on nudity.
That's a little bit of a different story. So
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll cause a fucking conservative uproar. That's for sure.
Well, I'm sure Candace Owens will talk about it.
So Ben Shapiro is going to have a field day with this one.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
But this is the thing. This is what I'm saying. But it feeds the conservative talking points when something like this happens. Yes, it sucks, and maybe this person just wanted to be just like any other woman.
Yeah.
But it's really like unintentionally feeding into the same old transphobic sort of talking points.
I might get some controversy for this as well, but like. I get that part of like wanting to feel like, a male or female member of society. Sure. But also like you do have to have some self-awareness as well.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying, that I wouldn't have done that,
Like I also don't think I would have, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have put myself into that position, especially like as we are as society is now.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
There's certain things that, like as being part of a society means we don't always get to do everything that we all want to do.
Exactly.
Right? Like there are certain things that like, we are expected to do as women, as men, whatever. Yeah, maybe it sucks. As a woman, I always, we can't show our, boobies. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Whereas men can, that's fucking, that's discrimination. But you know what? I still got to cover up. That's part of, the social contract.
Norms,
yeah. So what if I was well, that's another interesting thing. What if I was a, trans man and I still have my boobies and I started walking around naked? Like with my shirt off.
Yeah.
Is that acceptable? See, that's another question, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it would be. But then that begs the question.
Yeah.
So then is it okay for a trans man to walk around with a trans woman to walk around with her penis hanging out
in a change room? Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. Because if I were a trans man and I still had my boobies.
Yeah. Your boobies.
And I went jogging or something, and I still look like a woman or something. That would be, that I probably would get stopped.
Yeah, you probably would be.
So.
But again, I think if you were going down that route, you'd also have enough social awareness.
That's what I'm saying.
To be like, okay, I can't do this.
Yeah, like it sucks. I get it. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And it sucks that you were, born into this body that you feel that you don't belong in. Like, holy fuck. But there are certain things, it sucks for sure.
Yeah.
God damn, it's hot in your goddamn apartment.
It's only 25 degrees in here, Rose. You need to calm the F down.
Anyways, okay, guys. So that's our controversial topic of the day. Do we have more?
We have a couple. So I want to talk about, I want to talk about these because these are one of them is kind of like a controversial topic. This one's more of a quick one, but I just wanted to know if you saw
I have not seen this one.
Oh my God. It's so funny. And I've seen like, not any memes, but just like videos of it, and it looks insane. So again, guys, I'm not like a huge sports person. I don't know much about sports.
I literally don't know anything.
Yeah. Rose is worse than I am.
Yeah.
When it comes to sports. So basically, I don't know if you guys know about the Tour de France, but
I know, at least I know about the Tour de France.
Yeah.
So hopefully other people know about the Tour de France.
It's like basically this big bike thing, right? Where people bike for, it's very like huge.
It's a huge competition.
People train like ridiculous for it. I mean, it's like if you win the Tour de France, it's like a huge thing.
Yeah,
like, I think,
it's like a thing.
Who was it? Was it like not Neil Armstrong or Lance Armstrong? Yeah.
Is Neil Armstrong an astronaut?
I think he might be. Yeah, this is how much I know sports, guys, okay?
Yeah, but I think it was something Armstrong.
It was someone Armstrong that won it.
Didn't he get caught like taking the drugs?
Doping? Well, that's going to bring to our next story.
Okay,
You're jumping ahead.
Oh,
God damn.
Okay, continue.
So basically the reason that this is, well, it's not funny, guys. Well, it is a little bit. But there is like, people get really excited. Fans get really like super into this, you know, and there's like spectators.
Sure.
So I guess what had happened is like right at the get-go, like all of these bikes are like together and they're all racing very fast, very close together. And some woman had this like sign that she was like trying to hold out.
Yeah.
But she like was a little bit too far out into where the bikes were coming.
Right.
So a bike literally hit the sign, fell, and then literally it was like this catapult effect that like all of these bikes simultaneously was like
at the Tour de France.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So and apparently like,
did anyone get hurt?
yeah, some people got hurt.
Like badly?
I don't think anyone got super badly hurt, but blah 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 blah. Footage of the major cyclist pileup.
I'm shocked that like they don't have any like
side things.
Like they don't have anyone monitoring, you know, people having signs, you know what I mean? Yeah, but like this is a Tour de France. This isn't some random fucking bicycle.
But if you think about it, the Tour de France is a very long course. So in order for them,
so it was like part of the course.
Yeah, like
okay,
people, because they're just biking on this road, and then the people are at the sides.
Right,
so they might have some parts fenced off, but some of it they're just not. Right. And apparently, I guess the tour director, they're gonna try. They don't even know who this woman is. They got like a video footage, but they don't know 100% her identity. And I guess they're gonna try to sue her for behaving so badly. And one of the other like riders posted on Instagram, because I guess like. This happens not all the time. I think this is one of the worst ones,
right?
Because like,
but it's happened before.
Yeah, where people like get really drunk at partying and celebrating this, and then they'll like, you know,
and it like ruins. Oh my God, can you imagine?
Well, imagine if you had trained so fucking hard, got wiped out by some idiot.
Literally though, because the race don't stop.
No,
does it stop?
No, because literally all these people were like quickly like
I would be
climbing
so
back
fucking
on.
pissed.
Yeah,
can you imagine?
And I guess, okay, so here's it when it says bodies collide, tangled in the road, holding up the race for several minutes. The incident forced one of the riders to pull out with a wrist injury. 8 others were recorded as receiving treatment from the race doctor, with more injured, but not officially recorded in the medical bulletin.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So again, if you're being, I know, and like the reason this became so like crazy is just like the videos online. Like Rose, or those of you listening, Google this, because it's like literally you see, like it gives me a bit of anxiety. You see all these bikes.
I think that would get anxiety.
And then it's like domino effect. Like literally it's like boom, 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 and more people, and you're just like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
This is the Tour de France.
I'm stressed just hearing about it.
I know. And
That's crazy.
I do feel bad for all those people that train so hard.
I feel so bad.
And then that shit happens. And
that's like this is like the fucking, this is like their dream, you know?
And think about how much that would throw you off your game as well.
For sure.
You in the mood.
So stressed.
Yeah.
And then some of them got injured.
Yeah.
They can't even ride properly.
Some of them had to pull out of the race.
God damn.
That would be...
Well, that's the sports news number 1.
Oh,
What's sports news number 2, Daniel?
Sports news number 2, guys.
I'm familiar with a little bit. Okay,
so I'm not sure how to pronounce her name properly. Do you know? It's Sha'Carri Richardson. Yeah. So Sha'Carri Richardson, really young athlete. Apparently has like come out of I don't know.
She's a sprinter.
Sprinter. I don't know if she's come out of nowhere, but she's really making waves because she's done phenomenal. I guess U.S. sprinter. And compete. Blah 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 blah. What had happened? She was supposed to go to the Tokyo Olympics, I believe.
Right.
Because that's where the Olympics are next. I believe. Yeah.
Like it's like going on right now, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't know. It's like a whole thing.
Oh goddamn! But
clearly, like literally, we do not follow.
I know.
Sports.
We're like guys. We're like no, because I think the Olympics are next year.
God, I should follow some sports,
I know. Why don't you, Rose?
I don't know.
But anyway, apparently, so part of the controversy is she was told that she could not compete in the race in Tokyo because of an anti-doping violation. So she got drug tested, as they typically do when they're in these events and stuff, and was found to have, marijuana in her blood, in her blood or whatever.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Marijuana.
So the reason why this has got so much pushback, well, there's a few reasons, but I'll list a couple. So many reasons. So number one, around the US, I guess in 18 states, this is now legal, like marijuana is legal. Also in Canada and a few other places.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two is typically when you look at these kind of events, I mean, obviously any form of drugs are not great, right? But like, the reason why people are like, this is so confusing is why are you getting mad at this particular drug? Because it's not really a performance enhancing drug.
It's not at all.
Exactly.
Like I would say that it's probably the opposite.
Well, this is what people are saying. People are like literally taking marijuana is not going to improve your running speed. Yeah. If anything, you're right. It's going to slow you down.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not going to be as effective on the racetrack. It's like more for like maybe afterwards for relaxation or whatever else, helping you sleep.
Absolutely.
Whatever it may be. But there's no performance kind of metric.
Enhancing. Yeah.
Exactly. So I guess the like, I don't know if it's like a board or something.
It's because people have still such a primitive idea, especially I'm assuming is this like who did this test?
So apparently there's like a world. So
it's the World Anti-Doping Agency.
Yes. So this was created by the International Olympic Committee, and it basically regulates all of this like drug use in sports. Right.
It's so stupid. Like we know enough about marijuana now to know that. First of all, like it's not that harmful.
Yeah.
And second of all, it stays in your system for a very long time. So if you smoked a little weed, it might I think it stays like a month or something.
Well, and if you have long hair, it can stay for a very long time, Rose.
What?
Because I've heard.
Are you joking?
I'm dead serious. Because I heard what they can do is quite often if they want to do long-term tests, and I could be wrong, guys, but I seem to remember hearing this somewhere.
Are you serious?
They'll take a sample of your hair and they can like test it.
Oh, because it's long, so it's not cut.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm not.
So let's hope
I'm
you
not
ain't
going
go
to
for
the
any
Olympics
drug tests soon.
No, but like it makes literally no sense.
I know.
It literally makes no sense. Like I would be so fucking pissed.
I know. It's so stupid. And she's doing so well. She's super young, like really like at the height. And obviously as an like I'm saying as an athlete. I don't know why I was about to say as an athlete myself. No. But like
as a drug user yourself, that's what you meant to say.
No. What I meant to say though is like athletes, like typically their careers are just because you have a limited amount of time, right? Like your 20s is like peak athletic performance.
That's
I feel
true.
like, and then after that, I mean, you can still do sports for a bit longer, but like typically you see people in sports retire quite young.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
so
that's like when you're like in your 20s, like or maybe even in your teens. That's when you're like the strongest and
hugely.
fastest.
Yeah.
So this is like her one chance.
Yeah. Like, I mean, she might be able to go again, like, because obviously she's 21, right? So she still has a few more years.
Is there no way that she can go?
I think not.
Or are people fighting like...
People are pissed, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think that unfortunately this year, I don't think she's going to be able to compete.
It's so fucked up.
I know. And so
my God.
So this organization that does the testing, they've put forward basically a list of what would create like a drug that can't be used or a substance, right?
So right now it can be what? Like it can't be marijuana.
Well, apparently it determines that a substance needs to meet 2 of the 3 criteria.
Okay.
The criteria are, number 1, it enhances or could potentially enhance an athlete's performance.
Okay, so marijuana doesn't fit that.
Exactly. It could pose a health risk for athletes.
I wouldn't say marijuana really fits that.
And it violates, and this is a good one, it violates the spirit of sport.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever had.
Yeah.
I've ever read.
So I guess this organization doesn't specify which 2 of these 3 boxes are checked by particular substance, but in the case of marijuana. What?
In the case of marijuana, a 2011 academic paper offers more explanation, blah, blah, blah.
They said in the paper, the authors write that athletes who smoke marijuana could endanger themselves or others because of slower reaction times and poor executive function.
Okay, no sprinter on the face of this fucking earth is smoking marijuana before their sprint. Are you fucking kidding me? That is literally the dumbest thing you could do.
I know. Could you imagine how slow we would run if we right after we smoked we would be in the world's slowest race ever.
People are so stupid. Like, no sprinter is smoking weed before the fucking sprint. Are you kidding?
Yeah. They also write that marijuana use is not consistent with the athlete as a role model for young people around the world.
Who is right? Like, how old are these people?
80
years old?
And they indicate that the drug might help athletes focus or relieve the stress of competition, thereby giving them a leg up on the field of play.
Are you joking? Are you allowed to drink?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure you're allowed to drink.
That's a very good question. I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure you're allowed to drink.
Yeah.
So, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, literally the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
I've also heard, and guys, I could
So are you not allowed to, like, de-stress?
Well, I heard that at these Olympic events, guys, and I could be wrong, but you have a lot of young, athletic, good-looking people
doing a lot of activities.
Yeah, and I heard
extracurriculars.
I heard that at these events, because they all stay in like kind of same kind of buildings and stuff, they actually are given like contraceptives.
Shut up.
I could be wrong, guys, but I heard a rumor that they were like given
that'd be a stress reliever if I ever heard it.
Well, exactly. So are people, I guess in terms of, speaking about this, this organization, that people should not be having sex. People should not be drinking. People should not be smoking. People should not be smoking anything.
Yeah.
Because it violates the spirit of sport, Rose.
This is so, it's so stupid.
But I also hate when there's shit like this, because this kind of like violates the spirit of sport, is so ambiguous.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Whose idea?
That's why they put it there.
Of course. Because then they can really cheekily manipulate and be like, oh, well, actually, that particular substance violates the spirit of sport.
Yeah.
And then you could say, well, how? Well, it just violates the spirit.
Yeah. And like, the whole it's not consistent with them being a role model. I didn't realize that like Olympic athletes had to be a role model.
Well, I guess
they're athletes. They're not like, what the fuck?
I know. But I guess they're saying like everybody now in the public eye has to be a role model.
Fucking there's people like Tiger Woods is cheating on his
oh
wife.
My God, I
like
know.
Fucking we got a whole bunch of shit happening.
This is what's so stupid though. You're basically putting people on these pedestals, like these athletes.
Exactly. They're human beings.
Exactly. They're human beings. They can make mistakes. They do shit.
And smoking marijuana is not one of those mistakes.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you're right. It could have been in our system for a while. Like when you do the test, I think it's like you have to be clean for like a certain amount of time.
And even if it wasn't, it's stupid. This shouldn't be, it's not performance enhancing.
But that's why everyone's like getting really like upward about it, because they're like, okay, it's not steroids.
Yeah.
It's not like any of these like things that like actually can potentially improve your performance.
Might help athletic focus. Or see, that's so stupid. They're literally contradicting themselves right here. It says, so first of all, smoking marijuana could endanger themselves. People could endanger themselves
or others
because of slower reaction times and poor executive function. But then in the next sentence, it's like, it might also help athletic focus.
Yeah.
Which one is it? Is it going to slow them down or is it going to help with focus?
Yeah.
Those are two very contradictory statements.
It's very, this whole...
God, this makes me mad.
I know. So that's why like so many people, especially because like, I think a lot of people were rallying around...
Ooh, okay.
I think a lot of people were rallying around this sprinter.
Right.
Like,
so she's good.
Sha'Carri Richardson. Yeah. I think she like represented a lot. She's a person of color. Like,
oh, right.
There's like a bunch of things where people were like really like excited. They were like, and for this to happen, and
that's so annoying.
Yeah.
It's literally very annoying.
I know.
That's the thing. It's really hard to also like, how do I say, like, people have different methods of like relaxing, for example. Like some people might smoke some weed. Some people might, I don't know, take a long fucking bath. Are you not allowed to take baths? Like, are you not allowed to relax?
Well, apparently it's going to give you a leg up in the competition.
What But then it also might give you poor athletic abilities. Exactly. So I don't know which one it is.
It's just crazy to me. It's crazy.
Oh, God.
And yeah, a lot of people are pissed off. But is this going to change the World Anti-Doping Agency? Probably not.
I mean, I don't know. Like,
but I think as more countries legalize marijuana, which it's we're on the know, we're like the little snowball at the top of the hill that's slowly getting traction, right? So we've had a few countries now start to legalize marijuana.
What countries do we know?
Yeah, so I believe it's like legal in Amsterdam. It's legal. It's legal in Canada.
Yeah.
It's legal, I guess.
By the way, Amsterdam is not a country, but continue.
Oh goddamn! I meant the Netherlands. You know what I mean,
Just
Roses.
wanted to clarify.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
I had a moment. Canada, I guess in some states in the US.
Yeah.
I think it's like legal in a few other countries. I'm just not 100% sure. So it's definitely like more and more countries are starting to legalize marijuana and decriminalize it. So
yeah.
I don't know. And I think as the snowball grows, comes down the hill, picks up more countries along the way, then the World Anti-Doping Agency will have to just say, you know what, we actually can't consider this a, substance.
I do wonder also, I know in the States, a lot of people, there have been a lot of incarcerations because of marijuana use possession. Or marijuana possession.
Yeah.
I wonder if those people are going to be released were they released?
That's a very good question.
Because like, imagine.
Yeah.
Like imagine if you got fucking arrested.
I think they'd have to release them.
They would fucking have to, man.
If your criminal charge was like possession of marijuana with intent to sell.
Yeah.
And they decriminalize marijuana while you were in prison serving your sentence.
Then they would have to release you.
Well, I think you'd still have to appeal maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you probably would have to appeal.
But you would get, I feel like if you appealed that.
What the fuck? Dang. Anyways,
people with their goddamn cars revving their engines. It's so annoying.
It is. It really is.
And it happens so much all the time. Every single day, at least 3 or 4 people.
Welcome to downtown living.
Oh, like that.
Should we move to the suburbs?
Well, you wouldn't get that in the suburbs. Actually, you might still.
No, suburbs are very quiet.
Yeah, true. It's like it's almost like eerily quiet.
Yeah.
But I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, we're talking about, not criminals.
Oh, yeah.
People that, got incarcerated for marijuana
Basically,
use.
yeah. People that got arrested. And so they would probably have to still do an appeal.
Right.
But I just feel like there would be no judge that would be able to hold them because the possession of the substance would be no longer legal.
Exactly.
But unless they're like, well, it was illegal then, so now you can't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
But that would also be stupid.
Oh, that would be so bad. It's like, oh God. Just on a side note, I watched this like really interesting docu-series on Netflix.
Ooh, which one?
It was called I can't remember what it was called.
What was it about?
So it was about these 2 separate drug testing sites in the US, and they found out that the people testing the drugs were falsifying the tests.
Oh, I feel like I saw this.
It was called maybe it was called a doping scandal or something.
I think I saw it. Yeah, I think I saw some of it.
Yeah,
but not all of it.
So the story goes, and this is like pretty controversial, and I don't know what ended up happening in the end with these particular things. But so basically, in this particular state, there was 2 main testing centers for drugs, and the 2 pharmacists that worked at those 2 centers were separately manipulating the tests. Like, so one of the ladies, her issue was she actually, throughout testing and stuff, developed an addiction and started using the substances that were coming in.
What?
And was like falsifying tests and making product in the lab, like just going. She was fucking crazy.
Oh my God.
At one point, she would like literally be smoking crack in the
shut the fuck
in the
up.
Not the pharmacy, in the in the lab, like under the hood, so the smoke would like go up into the thing. Yeah, it was crazy. Keep in mind though, I think they said that she would perform like so many tests per day. And
is she the only one working in this lab?
Well, the lab was very underfunded.
Okay, I can tell.
Yeah, and there just wasn't proper oversight.
No, she's overworking. No wonder she got to turn to the drugs.
Well, then she was like stressed with work and stuff as well. That was part of it. There's a lot of complex issue, but she had like tested, I don't know, like 7, 8, 9,000 cases.
Shut up.
She was the person, and she'd have to go to trial quite often and be like, I tested this substance, blah, 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 blah.
So was she falsifying them on purpose, or was she just not doing her job properly?
Both. Like she was never like purposely falsifying them.
Right.
But she was just such a mess with like doing all these drugs and stuff that she was not doing her job properly.
Maybe I haven't seen this documentary.
And then the other woman this is all in the same state. The other woman, she was falsifying the test, but she was doing it for a different reason.
Was she getting paid?
She was getting paid, and also she wanted to look really good. She was like a successful pharmacist. And then so she started like doing too many tests that you couldn't normally do. And people were like, oh my God, she's amazing. How is she getting all these tests done?
She's just like making shit up.
Exactly. And
fuck off.
And then this is what made me think of it, going back to the weed being decriminalized. So a lot of these cases, these people are still incarcerated and they don't know. I mean, a lot of them, maybe the drugs were legitimate drugs, but those were the pharmacists that were like testifying in the court.
Right. And there's no proof otherwise.
Well,
right?
exactly.
Because they can't be like, because some of them might have, maybe they should have been, incarcerated. Who knows, right? Yeah. But some of them, like, maybe not.
Yeah.
But then there's no way of actually knowing.
And they can't go
after
back
the fact.
Now.
Fuck me.
Yeah. So some people have started appealing, but like, I think some of it was like over.
But do people go to like jail for that? For like
possession, for sure.
Fuck, that's fucked up.
100%.
I don't agree that people should go to jail for possession.
Well, if their possession, I think if they have a certain amount of the substance on them, like there's a certain, obviously I don't know that I've never been arrested. So,
God damn, Daniel, you'd be lucky.
I know I am. I've definitely got tickets and stuff, but I've never been arrested. But I think that like, if you have a small amount of any substance on you, like usually you're okay. Like if, but I think once you have a certain amount, like if there's a certain threshold, then you're considered like a drug dealer with intent to sell.
But then what is the testing? So they were testing, like, was it sports that they were testing for, like in this lab?
No. So for example, let's say you got arrested and you had a bag of white substance on you.
Oh, so they would
don't
test
know
the
that
substance
it's
to see if it's cocaine or whatever it is.
They would be like, oh, well, we've got you. We're going to arrest you.
So it could have been cocaine or something else.
Then it would go to the lab. They would test it. Then they would go into the stand and say, yes, this was cocaine that was here or whatever.
Oh my God, that is so fucked up.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if it was like some kind of, I don't know, like flour or something?
Exactly.
And they're like, this is cocaine.
Exactly.
And then you go to fucking jail. And Fuck me.
I mean, the chances of it being flour, but still,
you know what I mean?
like,
But like, still.
Yeah.
It could have been like, it could have been Tylenol. Like, who the fuck knows?
Exactly. And I still think if I remember correctly from the end of that documentary, a lot of people that were convicted are still incarcerated.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just imagine, like, I just don't know what kind of evil person, like, I'm talking about the second, I mean, the first one's already bad, but the second one is worse because she was doing this knowingly, this pharmacist. It's like, that's so evil. Like, you're toying with someone's life. Yeah. Right? And not just one person, but like thousands of people's lives.
But I think because she was in the lab, she like just didn't, she didn't equate the substances to people. Right. She just wanted to get.
It was like a number.
Yeah. She just wanted to get through as much tests as possible.
But you said she was sitting on trial and stuff.
Yeah. Like, well, they would still have to go to trial. So yeah. I guess she would see the people.
She would go there.
Yeah.
And she would testify.
Yeah. I guess you're right. Yeah. She's
just a sociopath or a psychopath.
Damn. Well, I know there was like, it was crazy.
Damn.
I remember seeing that documentary just being like, oh my God.
Oh God. Yeah. I don't think I saw that one.
But the one woman, the one that was like a drug addict, like towards the end, I was like, she was like literally at some point in the documentary, she was like, yeah, I was like making product in the lab. Like she was like cooking like crack.
Cooking meth?
Yeah. In the lab, using the chemicals in the lab. Like it's crazy. Because apparently they also have like pure substances to test with. And one of them is like methadone or something.
Okay, so she's
where
like,
they can test.
I got some pure stuff here.
Well, what she was doing is at first she was microdosing, or not microdosing, but she was taking some of this like test substance and just having a few drops. Yeah. But then that started getting low. And so she said like, oh God, I got to start. And then she started using some of the product that was coming. Like it was crazy, guys. And I was just like,
oh my God.
Wow. Like the shit that goes on.
There's like literally no supervisor or something.
So bad. It's so bad. Well, I feel like that happens more, like not more often than not, but like even in Stephen Avery's trial, when they were talking about blood tests and doing the blood tests and stuff, the lab technician that was there didn't follow the rules of when they're doing the blood testing, because you're not supposed to, like, I guess you're not supposed to use the whole entire sample in case you need to retest.
Right.
And she like used the whole samples. There was like just like really bad stuff going on.
Yeah. The thing is, like, you know how like I follow some true crime stuff. What I've learned is that there's just so much just shitty work done.
Yeah.
I mean, think about just the incompetence of people that we've generally worked with as well.
Oh God, yeah.
If you think about just incompetence in general, it happens across the board in every profession, which is so scary.
Yeah.
And one of the things is in, situations of like, forensic science even.
Yeah. I think it's twofold. I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
But I also think, unfortunately, some of it has to do with underfunding and overwork.
For sure.
Right?
That
so
is for
I think
sure
there's
also.
both. Yeah, there's both. And I think that was part of it with these pharmacists.
And under training as well. Like the amount of times I heard that like people, the police showed up at the crime scene and they just like fucked up all the evidence.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
I know. And it makes you like, this is why I think some people, they just get nervous. Cause like, for example, like if a police officer came in here right now, all of a sudden, I have nothing to hide, but I would get nervous.
Oh, for sure.
I'd be like, oh my God.
That's why you got to get a lawyer.
I know. And that's why, like, unfortunately, even if, and I know like, cause in the past, I remember I had the mindset, like if I ever got arrested for whatever reason, my first instance would just be like, let's have a chat with the police officer because, you know, like I'm innocent. I have nothing, like as long as I was innocent, I have nothing to hide here. But now, even if I had literally nothing to do with whatever's going on, I don't feel like I would be comfortable to speak to a lawyer, speak to a police officer. I would want to get a lawyer in present. Just because I don't know if they're gonna twist my words and somehow I'm on trial for something I didn't even fucking do.
Yeah. Or you could be in interrogation for like hours.
Exactly.
Without food and water, and then you go crazy.
Exactly.
So guys, lawyer up, guys.
Exactly.
Know your rights.
Know your rights. And unfortunately, that's a sad reality because
I know that's so fucking sad.
Yeah, because like 10 years ago, had you asked me that question, I would have been like, no, of course. Like they'll know I'm innocent. It's fine. Like I'll just talk to them and explain the situation. But I feel like, especially there was another show. I never watched too much of it.
Confession tapes.
Yes.
Oh my God, I watched like all of it.
Where people would like confess to crimes.
It made me so mad.
That they didn't do because they're put under that undue pressure.
I know.
So
it's
I'm like,
I can't believe it's legal, that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like nuts.
But what sucks is like if you get a lawyer right away, then all of a sudden people already suspect you because they're like,
oh,
why are you getting a lawyer if you're innocent? I'm gonna be like, I watch too much true crime shit.
Well, that's exactly what I would say. I'd say, really sorry guys, I have nothing to hide here.
Innocent as fuck.
Yeah, I'm nothing to hide, but I've seen too many true crime, and I just want to have my lawyer present because I know that anything I say can and will be used against me in the court of law.
Exactly.
And that's what I do. And then what is it? I plead the fifth or something?
I plead the fifth.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
no comment.
I don't know if we can say that in Canada.
No, I don't know if we can.
I think ours is a little different.
Yeah, ours is like no comment or something, you know?
Okay, what's next? Do we have more stories or have we gone over time?
I think we've gone over, well, we haven't gone over time, Rose, but the other stories, they just be about the vid. I'm not sure people want to hear about it.
God damn, they'd be all about the vid.
I know, we're talking about we're talking about that Delta variant that be ripping through the UK.
Well, okay, let's just touch on it a little bit because I don't actually know the full details of that. And it'd be hot as hell, so I'm going to get out of here as soon as I can.
So basically the reason there's some controversy is I guess the UK was set to remove a lot of their restrictions. Actually, they were supposed to remove them before us.
I think so, yeah.
Like June 21st. Yeah. But then it got pushed back. I think it's been pushed back again, like a little bit later in July. Part of the reason why is because they're having this surge of the Delta variant. So like there's like a new variant that's come out of India or wherever. Well, it's just, and there's been a surge of new cases and people are like, should we open up the country? We don't know. But apparently, like a lot of what's going on, like a lot of the deaths and everything else, are not from the Delta variant. Like it doesn't seem like the Delta variant is like increasing the amount of like hospitalizations and deaths as long as people are vaccinated.
That's the thing. The vaccination's still working, right? But it's basically, you can still get the Delta variant. Yeah. But then I think if you're fully vaccinated, the chance that you're going to be in the hospital or dying is very low, right?
Exactly. Right? Well, to back this up.
Have we got some statistics? More than 99% of recent COVID deaths in the U.S. involve unvaccinated people.
Yeah. And in the U.S., they do have the Delta variant as well.
Right.
So I know that we were just talking about the UK, this is the U.S. We can't necessarily extrapolate the data, but I guess
99%.
Yeah. So this just shows you again, more than 99% of recent COVID deaths in the U.S. involve unvaccinated people, which is a sad and tragic situation. And I get like, I mean, we had some pushback on our last episode or the episode a couple episodes ago when we were talking about getting vaccinated and, why we're getting vaccinated and people should try to get vaccinated. Yeah. And there were some people that were pushing back being like, my body, my choice, all of this kind of stuff.
I mean, you can do what you want, but I mean, statistics don't lie.
Exactly. And unfortunately, this is the reality that we're in, right? Like you can look at these stats and you can say whatever you want, but and I just love like, I don't know if I mentioned this. I won't say names or anything like that. But we all have that friend that's like an anti-vaxxer, anti-masker. And they're like, my body's a temple. I don't know what's in that vaccine, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, hang on a second. I know that you do all kinds of illegal substances on the weekend. That you never stop to think about what's in that before you put that shit in your body. At least this one's been tested in a fucking lab, At least there's some...
I mean, it's his choice, apparently.
I know. So...
Well, I mean, technically, a vaccine is technically your choice. I don't think they're forcing you to take the vaccine.
No, they're not.
So... But
like, you can still choose not to get it, but...
But, I mean, there are certain things that maybe you can't do, and that's just that's just reality, baby.
Yeah.
You don't get to just do whatever you want. Okay.
Well, and that's why some
it's
people...
like you have to get a license if you want to drive. Okay.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Yeah. Well, and some people, it's funny because like this is not the first time there's been travel restrictions based on a vaccination.
It's a normal thing, people.
I know.
I love how people like act like this is like the most fucking crazy thing in the world.
Exactly. There's some countries that you go to where before you go there, you have to get certain vaccines.
Yes.
Like I think, I can't remember what it was, but for a while, like going down to like Mexico, for example, you need to get certain hepatitis shots.
Oh, even Mexico, hey?
Yeah. I seem to remember. Maybe that was a while ago. I know like for certain countries in Africa, you have to get like yellow fever.
When I went to Kenya and Tanzania, I had to get yellow fever shot and like a whole bunch of other shit. Like I spent a ton of money on vaccines.
This literally, this is what blows my mind. It's like people are like, oh my God, we're not going to be allowed to travel unless we're vaccinated.
I know. I'm like, this is not new information.
I know. They're like, some countries are going to not let us in unless we've had this vaccine. It's like, well, this has been the case, just not to this scale.
Yeah.
But this has been the case to some degree globally.
Yeah. And like it's up to the countries. Like if you like, you still have to get a visa in a lot of countries too.
Exactly. You have
fucking
to get a visa.
Over it, bitch. Stop being a baby.
Oh, I know. And
again, if you don't want to get the vaccine, that's fine. But don't complain about the things that you can't do because certain countries want you to get the vaccine.
Exactly. Because they're going to be like, well, we don't want you.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't want you in our country causing maybe a strain on our economy or our hospitals if you do happen to get it. Like, not saying that you will. That's not a guarantee.
It's a safety issue and it's completely understandable. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so get vaccinated, guys.
God damn.
We be double vaxxed.
We are.
We be double vaxxed.
It's crazy.
I know, it's insane.
And apparently everything's opened up now.
Apparently everything here is opened up.
God damn.
Which is kind of insane.
Crazy as hell.
Well, I mean,
anyway,
we safe. Hopefully.
Anyway, so that was our little tons of news stories.
Oh my God, so much today. Some controversy. Lots of controversy.
Lots of conversy.
God damn, guys, leave us your comments down below. Be nice to us, okay? We just be a bunch of idiots just talking.
Damn, exactly. we're just telling you guys our point of view. But again, like the breeze, not like the breeze. I don't know what I was gonna try to. I was trying to like use like a metaphor or something to be like, we appreciate and we would like to hear your guys' comments, even if you don't agree with us, because you're not going to agree with everything that we say.
Yes.
We get that. You're never going to fully agree with people, 100%.
Yes.
But we do love like you guys getting engaged, letting us know what you thought about the episode and giving us, maybe if you don't agree with us, give us your opinion. But again, construct your argument and don't be an idiot.
And that is how we will end this episode.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon. Once again, it is patreon.com/the SaVeg to join our fam.
Join our little fam there. Our not so little fam anymore.
God damn, it'd be growing.
And in addition
what are we
going
to do when we get 100 patrons?
Well, we're going to do a bonus episode.
We're going to do a bonus episode.
Exactly.
So you get a bonus episode on top of the bonus monthly episodes
that month.
So come join us.
It'll be exciting. And you guys, if you're not already, whatever podcast platform that you're listening to the podcast on, just remember to hit that follow button or subscribe, and then
rate the podcast.
Rate the podcast. Give us 5 stars. Helps us. And also, if you are watching the videos on YouTube, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already, and of course, show us some love in the comment section below, guys.
Love you guys so much. Thank you for listening. And
it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure and a half. And we will see you guys next week.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.